Good morning, everybody. We are going to start today's class standing. So have your blocks just in front of you. I mean, they don't have to be perfect. And if you want to step sideways, you can, or if you want to start narrow on your mat and then we'll turn at some point, go ahead and do that. That's fine. Excuse me. But start by just feeling your feet on your mat. And the width of your feet is completely up to you. It should be what feels comfortable. And maybe rock forward and back on your feet. And just feel that. And start to spread out your little toes. And at some point, as you rock forward and back, I want you to find center. I want you to find the center of your feet. And spread the toes from the big toe all the way out to the sides. Try not to lock out the knees. Try to keep some softness there so that you don't start to arch in the low back. And then take the shoulders up to your ears and slowly roll them back and let them come down. And then just let the arms be heavy at your sides. Feel the chest rise a little bit. Feel the tailbone soften down toward the earth a little bit. And if you're comfortable with this, close your eyes. If you feel like you get a little dizzy or a little disoriented when you close your eyes, then keep them open. No big deal at all. I just want you to kind of tap into this connection to your mat and that mat's connection to the earth, wherever you are, whatever you're standing on. And breathe. And maybe the back of the head moves into the back space a little bit as if you were resting your head on a wall. Feel each shoulder move toward the side body, a little tone to the belly. Start to think of mountain pose, right? So maybe the legs engage a little bit more. Maybe the outer hips engage just a little bit more. Watch the knees. It's real easy to start locking the knees when we start to engage the muscles. Notice if your feet are gripping, if your toes are gripping. And again, if your eyes closed really mess you up, just open them. It's okay. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that breath that going all the way down into the earth. And take a deep breath in. And exhale it all the way down the body into the ground. And just one more. Inhale. And exhale it. And then let the eyes open, just kind of get your senses about you again. Take the feet a little bit wider. So we've done this before in class. There is a breath called breath of joy. It's one of my favorites. We don't do it a lot for some reason, but I always think of it as like being a conductor in an orchestra and how the conductor will stand in front of the musicians and it'll go like this, right? So in breath of joy, you inhale, 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 and then the exhale is a whoosh, right? A big whoosh of the breath as the knees bend. Um, be sure to bend the knees because otherwise you could get your back real cranky. So you bend the knees and you blow it all out and then you start again. And it's just little short inhales till you get a full inhale and then an exhale. Got it? Okay. So, and again, feet are comfortably wide for you, not too wide, not too narrow. You might be a little too narrow, too wide, Carrie. All right, here we go. So, inhale. Three more. One more. And hang, 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 hang. Nice deep bent knees. Let the arms swing. Let the head relax. Woo, and just feel that, right? Maybe swing the arms out to the sides. And then place your hands. If your hands are on your blocks, I want you to place your hands on the blocks. And if you're not sideways on your mat and you want to be, go ahead and widen the legs or turn your body. And if you're right next to somebody else, like in my little studio space, you might just stagger on your mats. So we start with the legs wide, the toes and knees are comfortable. And notice once again, where are you putting the weight in your feet? So maybe you rock back to the heels a little and then you rock toward the toes. And you're just checking it out. And then find the center of your feet. Lean into the big toe side of your feet and imagine you could just pull all the flesh of those feet out to the side. Spread them as wide as you can. And then press back to the pinky toes. Watch the backs of the knees. They can be straight, but try not to hyperextend. And feel the middle of your feet, right? So the tendency here will be either to lean way back into the heels or to weight heavily in the toes. So find the middle space. And imagine that you could press the pinky side of your feet down even more. And then tone the belly. Start to lengthen through your spine. Maybe walk your blocks forward so that the arms are straighter. Press back into the hips so that the hip line and the ankle line line up one over the other. And draw the shoulders back gently. Let the head come into alignment. It's almost like a very wide-legged downward facing dog. And feel your body start to stretch. Just pay attention to the low back. If it feels cranky, walk those blocks in more toward your body. Breathe. The hands on the blocks are soft. That's it. Couple more breaths right here. Just feeling the length of your spine. Bending the elbows if you need to. And then walk the blocks back closer to the body so they're under the shoulders. Turn your toes out. Bend the knees, everybody. Take one hand to one knee, one hand to the other knee, and come on up. Woo! And when you came up, did you give a little squeeze to your hips and your glutes? Just kind of re-engage everything. For my knee folks, just watch your knees here. Don't go deep. Don't go where it's too much for you. Everybody inhale, take the arms up. As you exhale, soft little squat. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, go slow here, right? So there's no reason to hurry here as you reach up, squeeze the hips and glutes in. As you exhale, watch the knees and the toes. Make sure you're not gripping and that the knees aren't rolling in. Good. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, reach up. Last one. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. And if it's okay with you, bend those knees, let the hands come to your knees, and then take the shoulders up to your ears. So this is called a horse stance. I'm not quite sure why. It never made sense to me. But the shoulders reach up into the ears. We're really shortening those upper trapezius muscles, kind of giving them a little bit of slack. And at the same time, I'm pushing pretty strong into the legs to kind of weight those down a little bit. Notice the knees. Are they rolling in? Can you press them to those outer imaginary walls just a little bit? And then engage Mula Bandha, or your pelvic floor muscles. I want you to draw them up from the earth. If you can, lift the toes. Ooh, yeah, starting to feel those legs already this morning, right? Find your breath. Remember, knee issues, you know who you are. Just don't go so deep. It's all right. And then everybody stand up. Ooh, squeeze hips, squeeze glutes. Walk those feet in. Grab one block. Take that block between your thighs. Find mountain pose again. So I love the block in the thighs. It gives me tons and tons of feedback. And as those inner upper thighs kind of roll in and back, it widens the sacrum. It widens, helps widen that lower back so that we're not doing any pinching. Watch the backs of the knees. Give that block a really good squeeze, like a really good one. And breathe. And then let go about half of that squeeze. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, halfway down, bend the knees. Take your hands to your back pockets, like you're putting them in your back jeans, and roll the shoulders, lengthen through the lower back, lengthen through the crown of the head. The knees are super soft here, everybody. And breathe. 1, stay here. 2, let the hands go, but reach them back behind you as if those fingers could touch a wall. Keep the chest open. Don't let the shoulders fall forward. And bend the knees as you raise the arms. Chair pose. Woo! You know, when I was working through class this morning, I thought, oh, it's a shoulder class. And now I'm thinking, it's a leg class. What happened, right? Breathe, everybody. Good. Stand up on purpose. Exhale, forward fold, halfway, just halfway. Hands go to back pockets. Roll the shoulders, soften the knees. Lengthen the tailbone and the sternum and the chest bone at the same time. Good. 1, you're here. 2, those arms reach back. We're doing 3 of these, just so you know. Bend the knees as the arms reach forward. Chair pose. Breathe. Imagine you're holding a ball between those hands. What happens to the shoulders when you do that? Good. Stand all the way up. Exhale, last one. Halfway. Watch the back of the knees, hands to back pockets. Pull the shoulders, those front shoulders, away from the floor. What's going on with your feet as we do this? Are you scrunching those toes and digging a hole in your yoga mat? Right? So we feel the tailbone lengthen. We feel the torso get long. Release the hands back if you want. Pull the shoulders away from the floor. And then bend the knees as the arms reach forward. Find your pose. Use your breath, right? So chair pose, that low belly is toned in, the tailbone's super heavy. We're not arching into the lower back. Stand all the way up and just exhale. Woo, shake it out. Take that block out from your thighs. Grab your second block if you have it. Go wide on your mat again. Now, the direction of your toes is completely up to you. Depends on how your hips are built. So for me, when I bend my knees, I want my hip bone, my knee bone, and my ankle or foot to line up. And that's how that works for me. For some of you, your feet are going to be way more forward than out to the side. Just don't go super far out to the side, because then you're doing a weird ballet thingy. What do you call that? Plie. Right? And that's not what we're looking for. All right, so squat, no squat. That one's up to you, because you don't have to do that for what we're doing. Both blocks in front of you, you're just tapping them together, and then inhale, tap them up high. Exhale down. And if you're in a squat and you decide that's enough for you, just straighten the legs. Breathe. Now, if you're in a squat or not, watch your form, right? Breathe, take them up and down. Take them up, down. How's the legs feeling? Woo. And down. 4 left. I do sort of count, but I lose count all the time. Here's 3 and 2. 1, hold those blocks over the overhead, stand up. Woo, squeeze everything. As you exhale, come back down into your squat. Arms are out to your sides, length from the shoulders. Tap them forward. Open and squeeze. 2, 3, don't lose your form. 4, you got it. Open. 5, 6, woo. 7, how's that squat? 8, 9, 10, open wide, open, stand up. Whoo, let it go. Roll it out. I know, right? It's really interesting how we start to use those arms, use those shoulders. Squat, no squat, again, up to you. Arms out to the sides. Internal rotation. External. Internal. Whew, that's it. Squeeze them forward, squeeze them out. Breathe. 4, we're just doing one more here. 5, turn those blocks face up. The blocks aren't necessary, by the way. They're just there to give us a little bit of feedback and a slight amount of weight, so pulse up. How's that squat? Pulse forward. Breathe. Pulse down. Oh, that one's harder. Pulse back. Smile. Turn the palms up. I know you're feeling your shoulders and arms because I am too. And do bicep curls. Squeeze. Maybe you tap your block to your shoulders and open. Squeeze. Watch that head neck. Don't get too tight there. Open. How's the legs? Have you forgotten about them? 5 more. 4, 3. Yep. 2. I know. I feel it too. 1 and let go. Straight those legs. Holy moly. Roll your shoulders. And then heel toe in. We're almost done with the arms. Shake them out. Shake out the legs. Good. Your feet are just a little more than your hips width apart. One block sits on your thigh. The other one goes up to the ceiling. So I'm pushing the block into the thigh and feeling that as I raise the other one up. Big deep breath. Now, if this hurts your shoulder, because some people get this compression here in the joint, in the shoulder joint, just go wide and see if that changes it. Okay. So, because you don't want to irritate that joint if it's already cranky. Good. Switch, go slow, just push it into your thigh, like push on purpose. Take the other one up. Big deep breath. Good. One more, both sides. Push hard. And release, push hard. And release, take both blocks out to the side. Push your right one if I'm mirroring here. Raise the left. Like really push in. We're just doing a little bit of isometric work for the muscles. Where do you feel this, right? When we push. For me, I feel it in the back, that big side muscle in the back body, the latissimus dorsi. Maybe that might be something else for you. Push, switch sides. Like really push that palm into the block. You're not holding it, you're pushing it. And switch. Isn't this fun? And switch. Last one. Push, 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 push. Where do you feel it? Where do you feel it in the arm that's pushing? Release that top one, push both sides. Like squeeze. My elbows are bent and kind of reaching back just a little bit, but push through the arms, through the back, and feel that isometric work. Take both hands in front of you, push the blocks. Little bit of chest work, right? Push really hard, really hard, really hard. Good. Last one. Take those blocks behind you. Back body work. We don't do nearly enough. And push those blocks together. Try not to bring the head forward. Wow. 1, 2, 3. All 3 of you put your head forward. Good thing I looked up. Breathe. Like really roll the shoulders back. Oh, I know, right? So how much you feel this is an indicator of how much we need this. This is back body work. And release it. Shake it out, everybody. Whew, good job. And then set your blocks down. If you happen to have a strap, go ahead and use it. If you don't worry about it. You can do this with your arms without worrying about a strap. So you're just going to take either arms wide or strap wide. Take it up overhead. Reach it back to your level. Soften the fingers. And then take it back forward. Good. Just a couple more. You might want to go a little wider, Carrie, see how it feels. Maybe come down back behind you, but if you do that double jointed thing, don't do it. If you don't have a strap, you're just moving the arms back, which also feels really good. Good. Couple more. Just opening up that work. Oh, good. And then sit your block down. Or you're strapped down. We're done with that. Grab both of your blocks, have them up at the front of your yoga mat. So what I love about yoga, the asana practice, is that we can work everything in the body. You know, it's like, even if I'm focused on shoulders or legs or hips, really everything is working. And I just love it. All right, so your feet are at the front of the mat, your blocks are there. Go ahead and inhale. Exhale, slow swan dive down. Your hands can rest on your blocks. Feel your feet again. Where are they on your mat? Are you toe forward? Are you heel back? Where are you? Draw the elbows in towards side body. So if they're splayed out, just draw them back to a neutral line. If your hands are on your blocks, I want you to be very careful with your movement. Lift your right heel and then step back with your right leg. And find a nice, easy lunge. Nice, easy. Now, nice, easy for you might be knee down, right? To start, and then lifting the knee maybe later in class. And check out the forward hip. So that left hip that loves to roll forward, which loves to roll the knee forward, just kind of roll that left hip back. And then lengthen the torso again and feel from the back of your right heel to the crown of your head, that kind of length. Good. Then take your hands to your knees. Press your torso up. If you need to bend the back knee in order to get your torso upright, that's okay. A little harder work, actually, but sometimes that psoas is a bit too tight. Inhale, take it up. Arms up, belly tone, that left hip rolled back so that both hips are level, right? Both hips are even. That's what we're looking for. And then take the hands down, turn the palms back, press back as if you're trying to press back into something. Keep the chest lifted. Big deep breath. Turn the palms forward and open up those shoulders. Whoo, yeah. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Good. Listen up. I want you to lower your right knee, slide back with your left knee, walk your blocks forward, and come into a weird half plank. So all you're doing is pressing into those hands, keeping the hips up. Those lower legs can be down or bent. For me, it's easier on the knees to keep them bent. And then just bend the elbows a little so that you have to hold yourself in space. And notice if the shoulders either scrunch up or roll forward, and then push up again. Let's just do 2 more. Easy bend, don't go super low, and push up. 1 more. Just bend the elbows, keep everything long, and push up. Good. You're going to step forward with your right leg. Lift your left knee optionally. Take the arms up. Find that nice high lunge here or low lunge. Use your breath. Notice, right? Take the hands down, press them back, palms face back. Really feel those shoulders lift, everyone. Breathe. And then turn the arms around. External rotation, engaging more of those back muscles. Smile here, maybe, right? Little smile. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, slow down. Lower your left knee. Slide your right knee back. This time, take the blocks out of the way. Plant the hands. Half plank. What is half plank? If you're not sure, go into full plank and then just lower the knees. That's half plank, okay? Elbows train in, the shoulders open. You decide about those lower legs for you. Just bend the elbows a little. Try not to let the head lead the way. And then push up. Bend the elbows. Whoo. Push up. Easy, easy. Bend and push up. Release those legs. Lift the knees. Come to downward facing dog. And pedal out your feet. Check the hands, check the shoulders. What are you doing with the upper body while you bend your lower? Right? Find your pose. And then look through your hands. Either drop the knees and then step forward right leg, or just step forward right leg. Take the blocks back underneath your hands. Engage the legs. Press through your back leg. Remember, back knee can be on the floor. All right, so this time you're going to lift those blocks, bring them to your chest. And then you're going to press them up to the ceiling. And how did that feel, right? As we bring them back down to our chest and back to the floor. My one gal in particular out there with low back stuff, you might want to just stay high instead of moving through this. Good, here we go again. Slow, squeeze the blocks in, press them up. Bring them back to your chest. Take them to the floor. Just one more here. Working the legs and the arms. Here we go. Bring them up. Push up on purpose. Hold. See if you can let go of the grip of the blocks. Right? If the wind blows, we're all in trouble. And bend the elbows. Take them to the floor. Pause. Lower the knee. Slide the other knee back. Let's do 3 little half plank to half chaturanga. Push up and down. I did kind of warn you it was a shoulder day. And down, push up. Woo. Good. Step forward, left leg. Lift your right knee. Engage the legs. Blocks, no blocks. You're taking them to your chest. You're pushing them up. You're bringing them back down. You're leaning forward. There you go. Take it up. Reach up. Legs are strong. Down to the floor. Last one. Bring them up. Woo. Bring them high. Bring them down. Take them to the floor. Lower your knee. Slide your other knee back. Move your blocks out of the way. Your choice, my darlings. Either half chaturanga or take it down. Push it back up. Just 3 of them. Take it down. Push it up. Woo. Last one. Down we go. Push up. And then a little child's pose. Child's pose always feels good. So we just find our breath here. We notice how all of that felt. We breathe. Got ourselves nice and warmed up, I hope. All right, now I don't want you to fall asleep on me, so let's let's get moving. So you were in child's pose, come to table pose. Watch those hands and wrists, by the way. If your hands or wrists get real chatty, go to soft fists here. You can do that for a good part of this one, or switch in and out. Step the right leg back. Engage that belly, lengthen through your tailbone, lift the leg. And go ahead and point the toes for a change. We're flex all the time. We don't point very much. And then reach the left arm out. Balancing table. Been here, done this many, many times over our yoga lives. Breathe. Take the left arm out to the side. See if you can take the right leg out to the side a little bit. Take everything center and release. Go to the other side, left leg back, lift it up, point the toes, reach the right arm. Reach arm out, see if the leg will go out. Just a challenge here. Bring it all center, lower down. Right leg back, lift. Here's the tricky part. 1, you're going to regular balancing table. 2, you're going to same side balancing table. Right arm, right leg. You gotta find the balance point. This one's tricky, so if you feel really shaky, or you go tumbling, and let go. Other side, left leg. Left arm. This is a weird one. Once you find it, you always find it. But until you find it, it's really puzzling. and let go. Shake out your booty. Plant those hands, downward facing dog. Woo. Find your breath. Take the feet wide on your mat. Walk those hands all the way back to your feet. Bend the knees, hands to knees. Come on up. Woo. Roll your shoulders. I know. Shake everything out, everybody. Good. And then grab your blocks. And to the best of your ability, all you're going to do is you're going to set those blocks right at the top of the thighs where the hips crease. And you're going to hold them there. And then you're just going to kind of move those hips over the blocks. And you're going to come back to a forward fold. Now, if your hands don't reach the floor, don't worry. Just take your hands to your shins. Find your breath. Let the head hang. Open up the shoulders. Find your breath, everybody. And then bend the knees. So you're going to feel, don't do this if it hurts, but you're going to feel those blocks pressing into low ribs and belly quite a bit. Start to lift up. See if you can hold the squat. Take your elbows to your knees. So you're just like contemplating. You're looking at your mat, wondering if you should clean it, right? You're just kind of hanging out here, but you're feeling the legs. Now, I want you to push the legs away from each other isometrically. Try to stay at the center of the feet. Those blocks are being sandwiched in between your ribs and your thighs. If it hurts, take them out. Find your breath. If you can, grab your blocks, take them out, hold the pose. Lift the chest and stand all the way up. So just creating space right through here. Set your blocks down. Oh. Come to the front of your mat. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Lift your right heel, step back, shorter step than your usual. Drop your back heel in just a little bit. Take your hands to your blocks. Take those blocks at the highest level. Roll that lovely left hip back, straighten your front leg. Simple pyramid pose here. Now think about the torso, right? So what is the tendency here is to kind of round, especially if you're trying to go low. I don't want you to go low right now. What I really want is the left hip to train back, the front foot to feel very even on your mat, and the crown of the head to reach forward. So that if you could put a rope around the left hip and keep it back and still reach the crown of the head forward, you'd really create length on that side. If you're good here, stay here. If you want, take the blocks both one level lower and forward of your front foot. And then see what changes in your pose. Roll the left hip back. Press through the back foot, by the way. Let's not forget about that leg doing all kinds of work. The crown of the head forward. If your hamstrings allow, you're going to bend the elbows toward the floor, not side walls, but toward the floor. Keep everything long. Find your breath. If your front knee is not completely straight, do not worry about that one bit. Depends on those hamstrings, right? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Or you might just be too low. If your front knee is bending a bunch, you might be too low. So you just come up a little bit. Good. Bend your front knee, everybody. You're going to step your back foot back a little bit more. You're back in a high lunge. Can take the knee down if you want. Bring the blocks to your chest. Reach them up to the ceiling. Take them out to the side. Keep rolling them. Whew, reach them up. Open big, big, big wide. Down we go. One more. Reach up. Open. Take them to the floor. Lower your right knee. Bring your left knee back. You know what's coming. Little half chaturangas. Elbows stay in. Just bend toward the blocks and push back up again. Bend toward the blocks and up. Just 3. Bend. Push up. Good, 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 everybody. From here, right foot forward. Left knee lifts. You go high on your blocks. We're doing the other side. And then that back foot steps in a little and the heel turns in just a little. Check the front foot. Do you lean out? Do you lean in? What is your tendency? Can you roll that right hip back and then lengthen through the crown of the head? Can you press into the back leg? By the way, for some people, turning that foot inward is bothersome to their ankles. If you want to keep a straight foot, that's an option. That's a variation. Start to lengthen the crown of the head. Push into the back leg, lengthen through the front leg. 1, you're here. 2, you lower the blocks by 1 and let them come forward a little. Torso got longer. Shoulders stay open. Don't let them crowd your ears. Keep them open. Lengthen that front foot, big toe to inner ankle. Breathe, everybody. Are you feeling some sensation, right? Are we feeling something in the legs? Are we feeling something in the hips? Push into the back leg more. And then bend your front knee. Step a little longer, optionally, with your back leg. Find that high lunge. Draw the inner thighs, inner upper thighs towards each other. Bring the blocks to your chest. Whoo. Take them up to the ceiling. Open wide. Swing them around. Take them up. Open that chest. Last one. Reach. Open wide. Open, 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 open. Good job, everybody. Blocks go to the floor. Lower your back knee. Slide the other knee. Move your blocks. 3 more baby chaturangas. Roll the shoulders. Here we go. All the way down, halfway down, 1 inch down. Push it up. And up. And up. Child's pose. Find your breath. So especially when we're doing a lot of the shoulder work, if you can, you take those arms along your sides to give the shoulder muscles a break, okay? If that doesn't work, if your head's hanging too low, either you're putting a block under your forehead or you're stacking soft fists under your forehead, something that makes sense for you. Good, everybody breathe. Good, from child's pose, come on up, table pose. We're doing a lot of repeat today, just a lot of muscle memory stuff. Bring the right leg back, tone the belly, lift the leg, this time flex. Reach the left arm, balancing table. Arm out, leg out. Find your balance. Bring them forward. Lower that side, go to the other side. Dun, 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 right? You can do this. Find your breath, strong poses. Take them out to the side. Take them forward. Lower down. Right leg out. Optional choice, right arm out. One side is always harder than the other. Apparently, this is my hard side. And lower. Switch sides. Remember, you don't have to do the same side thing. You don't have to be crazy like me. And lower. Whew. Good. Just come off those wrists, everybody. Shake them out. Give them some good love. Give them some circles. Shake, shake, shake. Roll it out. Good. And then come back to table pose for a moment. You're going to kickstand out your right leg. Your right hand is going to be in front of your shoulder. And then you're just going to turn yourself to the side. Flex your long legs foot. Find your balance. If you don't kickstand out, it's much harder. And then tone the belly in. Lengthen the tailbone. Take the top arm up, optional. Now, if this is really hard, tricky balance-wise, just put that long legs foot back to the floor. Find your breath. I want you to take the top arm and reach it behind you, turn the palm back. Open the chest, but watch the low back. Try not to over curl into the low back. Take that arm up. Breathe. Lower it down. Woo, shake it out. Just gonna turn around so I don't have my back to you. Shake, shake, shake. Kickstand left foot out. Left arm lines up. And what I always look for, and I didn't say it on the other side, is that my knee and my hip are relatively in line. Initially, my left hand is forward of the shoulder, but as I lift, right, the body comes forward and then you're stacked shoulder wrist. Flex the foot, keep both hips pointing forward, take the arm up. You get extra points if you can smile while you're doing this. And then take that arm back behind you, palm face back. Woo, lift and breathe. Exhale, let go. Good job, everybody. Down dog. Find your breath. Walk your hands to your feet. Bend the knees. Come on up. Roll your shoulders. Shake out your wrists. So one thing to do when the wrists are chatty is to take your hand around the base of the wrist where the hand bends and give it a good squeeze. I learned that from a chiropractor friend of mine who's a yoga teacher. And sometimes you'll feel like just little couple pops, and it's just realigning those little bones. There we go. So what happens too when we are in poses like plank downward facing dog, if we lean on that outer pinky side, which a lot of us do, this muscle or this bone is not as strong as the bone that's at the thumb, okay? The radius versus the ulna. So you want most of that weight to move from kind of that index finger up to the shoulder. Just something to think about. Grab a block. Maybe turn sideways on your mat, maybe not. Take the block between your thighs. Up nice and high if you can, if it's comfortable. Squeeze your block. And as soon as you squeeze your block, do you feel your glutes? Do you feel how they engage? And the tailbone lengthens, right? Without the knees locking, the feet are relatively facing forward. And breathe. Good, hands to hips. Little bit of balance work here. I want you to lean into your right leg. Lift your left foot off the floor. And breathe. Still okay, the right arm. So I'm obviously not mirroring here. I just realized that. If you're watching, opposite arm, squeeze your block and release. Good, same thing other side. Squeeze into your left leg. Lift the right. One side will often be easier than the other. And then that left arm goes up. That's it. How's that feeling, everybody? Lower down. Release. Choice one here. Choice two, go second width. Might have done this the last time you came here, Miss C over there. And that's really funny. I haven't done it before or since. Squeeze your block. Just feel that. Now, for some of you, this is torture. So don't do it, right? This wide, but it actually can help. Again, my chiropractor friend who I love and adore said this can really help to reset the hip line. So I believe him. Squeeze, lean into your right foot, lift your left. Woo, find your balance. Lift opposite arm. Breathe. Come on down. Lean into your left foot. See if you can lift the right. Remember balance work, right? We always try to find that focus point. Now, as you squeeze the block, what's it doing? It's actually pressing the standing leg into the block, which helps it stay center, which helps you stay center. Whew, and release. Good. Take the block out, set it aside. Find that pose again. Stand tall. Imagine you're squeezing a block. Lean into your right foot, lift your left. You're probably going to be able to lift it a little higher, no block in the way. Take the opposite arm up and out. Tone the belly. What's happening to both legs? Can you feel the lifted legs, hip and glute? Right? Lower down. Other side, find your still point. Lean. I got block or porch issues here. I'm just smack in the middle of two boards. Press, toes are pointing forward. Whew. Opposite arm lifts. Breathe. And lower. Shake out the hips. How they feeling? I know. Take your right arm up. I'm not going to mirror here, so just hang in there with me. Bend, pat yourself in the back. Take the left arm out, internal rotation, reach it behind. Maybe the fingers touch, maybe they don't. Please don't force them to touch. If you have a strap, you can hold the strap instead. It's gonna get tricky, my darlings. Squeeze the legs. Lean into right leg, see if you can lift the left. Woo. And breathe. Lengthen the tailbone here. Woo. You got it. And lower down. Release the arms. Shake them out. Other side, left arm up, bend, pat yourself in the back. You came to yoga today. Yay! Right? Pat yourself on the back. Celebrate it. Arm out, internal rotation. Reach behind you. Again, don't force the hold. The arms can rest at the back. Find your balance, the length in your tailbone. Lean and lift. Woo. That's it. Breathe. Both legs having to work here. One suspended, one not. And lower. Good job, everybody. Shake it out. Shake out the arms. Give them a couple circles. And interesting, right? One side easy, other side not so easy. It's really interesting how the body shifts and all the patterns through all our lives create all of this stuff that's going on. All right, back to the mat. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Whew. Step back, downward facing dog. So last one here for the shoulders. This is optional for you. Please be mindful. You're going to plant your left hand. You're going to take your right hand to the left leg, anywhere it'll reach. So working one arm, one shoulder, one upper back, much harder. Breathe. Release that hand. Find your down dog first, and then switch hands. Building strength here, everybody. And release. Come to plank pose. Hold. Knees down, perfect option here. Don't force it. Don't work harder than you need to. Lower the knees. Bring the elbows in. Slow, slow. Chaturanga down to the floor. Whew. And come to Sphinx Pose. And just feel that. Feel that Sphinx. Now, you know, right? I've said it often enough that if this is irritating to your lower back, there's things to do to try. One is to really lengthen through the tailbone, which means you're drawing that lower belly up and in, coming to that bottom edge of the pubic bone. Another way to do it is to drag the elbows toward the body a little bit, isometric, in order to lengthen the torso. or simply bring your elbows forward. Lessen the curve of the spine, but still do the other thing. Good, big deep breath. Whew, how's the neck? How's the shoulders? Maybe roll that head around a little. Maybe just drop the head down to the floor. This is one of the safer ways to work with the neck. I like this. And then lift the head back to neutral. Find the pose. Try to lift the knees off the floor. How's that feel? What did that do? What did that change? Again, also with the low back, you can take the legs wide. That'll ease up that back. Good. And lower down, everybody. Shake it out. And then roll on to your right side. I'm going to have my back to you for a moment. So forgive me for that, but I want you to see what I'm doing from the back side. You can use a block for your head if you would like, so that your right arm, if I'm on my right side, my right arm's on the floor, my palms face up, and it's right out from the shoulder. Bend your bottom knee so that you're creating a little base here, and then lift your top leg just a little bit. Bend that knee, take your top arm up, reach it back. Just see if you can find your foot. If you cannot find your foot, one, don't worry about it. You can use your strap, or you're just reaching, right? If the knee doesn't bend that way. So hold on to that foot. See if you can open up that front body and stretching the front body and working the back body. So I'm looking for a stretch in my front thigh, front psoas muscle, and not to mention the chest, right? So breathe here. You don't have to go far. One of the things to play with is what's happening with your knee. Are you kind of splaying it up toward the ceiling? Can you level it out just a little bit? Some of you can draw that heel closer to your glutes. Some of you won't. Big stretch here. Good. And then release the foot, extend the leg out again. Turn the toes up, reach the leg up, and then look at your foot, grab your leg, and find your stretch. Some of you will be able to reach your toe. Just breathe. Good. Release nice and slow. Straighten the legs, turn over, other side. I don't usually use a block under my head, but I've really been liking that lately, just to line up the neck so it's not hanging and you're not crushing that arm. All right, so bottom knee is bent, top leg is straight. Excuse me. Lift the leg just a little bit so it's level with the hip. Bend the knee back. Take that top arm, reach it back, big stretch. Maybe you find that foot, maybe not. That top knee being bent, and the knee in front of you, by the way, helps with balance a bunch. And then feel that again. So the top shoulder opens. Try to keep the hips level. Press the leg back. Some of you, your heel's going to go closer to glute than others. No force. And just breathe. Notice. Good. And then as you release, you're going to turn the toes up. Reach the leg up. Some of you are going to grab your big toe and hang on to it. As you press the one leg up, try to press the other leg down, right? It gives you a really nice solid base here. Take a really deep breath. Good. Release that foot, that leg, lower it down, bend both knees. And I want you to press up to a seat. You're like, what? No, I was getting so comfy down there. All right, so just a little bit of playtime here with cow face. cow face pose. Again, a pose we don't do often, and I'm going to put you through stages to see how it feels for you. If you have a blanket or something, excuse me, that you want to sit up on to raise the hips, that's always really nice. And if you've got your yoga mat and no blanket, you can take your blanket or your yoga mat and just see if that makes a difference for some of you. And cow face is not accessible to everybody for a whole lot of reasons. So one of the first ways I learned to modify this pose was to see if you could sit with crossed legs, okay? And bring those legs in as close as you can and see how your hips and knees do with that. So this is a variation. It's also a variation for fire log pose. That we bring the knees in close, but we're not stacking them one on top of the other. Now, if you're like some of my hip challenged people, I want you to keep the one leg straight, one leg bent, and come into more what feels like the setup for a twist. And then you can play with maybe that knee dropping down and just do one side at a time. Because I know for some of you, this is just not a happy place, okay? So find your happy place is what I'm trying to say. So either you're close or one leg is straight, one leg is over, one leg is bent a little. Here's another option. Or you're gonna stack the two knees one on top of the other. And a kind of fun way to do that is sit with the legs straight, cross. So I've got my left leg on top. Again, sorry, not mirroring today for some reason. And then bend the knees. How's that feel in your body? Bend the knees, bend the knees, bend the knees. Maybe the knees come to the floor. Maybe your knees drop onto a block, okay? And for some, that's nice and accessible. You don't want to force the pose onto your body. You want to work with your body in the pose, and you find what works well for you. So if I've got my left knee on top, if you have your left knee on top or your right knee, you can already feel probably sensation in the hips here. If your left knee is on top, take the right arm up. If your right knee is on top, take your left knee up. Bend the arm, pat yourself on the back. If you use a strap, that strap is over your shoulders. Other arm internally rotates. I almost said external. And you find the fingers or you find your back, or you just don't worry about it. And the key here with the hands is if your head just went like this, right? If it dropped down into your chest, you're doing too much with the arms. And then just pause and see if you can settle into what you chose for this pose, whether the legs are straight or the knees are bent or they're stacked one on top of the other or they're not. When I was a younger yogi, I cared about doing what I thought the pose was supposed to look like. And now I care about what my body feels like in the pose. So I want you to be there too. And then just soften. Some of you have huge range of motion here. If you want to come on forward, come on forward. Don't have to. If you came forward, lift up. Let the hands go first. Shake them out. Lean back. This is my favorite way to get out of the pose. Release them. Oh, shake them out. When you're ready, switch sides. You can even hang out here, right? I'm okay with that too. Whatever feels good in your body is okay with me. Come into your version of cow face legs. Knees stacked, knees wide, legs crossed. What feels good to you, please don't force it. You can always move the flesh out from the sit bones. And one thing I've seen a lot of my students do is just take a block underneath, and that raises the knees up. It's kind of settles down a little bit, settles the hips down a little. So that's something to play with if that works for you. And for others, it's raising the hips up to give more space in the hips. All right, whichever knee is on top, that opposite arm goes up. Bend, pat yourself on the back. Take the other arm out, internal rotation that just helps get that shoulder back there. Find the fingers or not. Have the head nice and level. Soften everything down. And just imagine again this kind of connection to the earth as you take a deep breath. And again, if you have the ability and desire, you can just roll forward. The side's a little tighter for me, so I'm going to loosen the hands up. Breathe. And then take the torso up. Release the hands. That's always my tight side. Lean back. Open the legs wide. And just pause. Just sit and pause. Move the flesh out from the sit bones. Maybe a little internal rotation of the thighs. For me, for my body, I don't come deep forward in this pose. My back doesn't like it, but I can take the hands forward, roll the shoulders back, open up the chest, engage the legs, and find this wide leg forward fold for my body. If you are built in a way that brings your chest toward the floor without rounding into your lower back, that is awesome. And sometimes if we're patient, we can go a little deeper, right? Sometimes not. So just soften it. Soften what you can. I've never been super patient in my life, and certain yoga poses teach me patience. This is one of them. It just, like, my body goes, don't even think about going low in a fast manner. It's just not going to happen. And notice what maybe happens when you do quiet down this much. What does your body do? What does your mind do? If you've taken the torso forward, lift up. Take the hands underneath the knees, bend the knees. Last one here, just a super easy Badakanasana. Knees out to the side, soles of the feet together, press into the feet, lengthen the spine. This is another one of those. I'm not a huge fan. If you've been with me a while, I am not a huge fan of rounding the back. Just not. If you have the capacity and the hip shape to take the torso forward, go ahead. Some of you I know can take your nose down to your toes. That will be up to you. For me, it's a easy low back challenge, and it's not worth that. Because what are we doing, right? What are we doing this for? If you feel a nice stretch in the inner thighs, if you are doing the pose without pain, you're doing the pose, right? You can use blocks here pretty easily if you wanted that. These are more yin-like as we hold. They're more yin-like poses. And bring the torso up. Hands to outer knees. Roll those knees back to the middle. That feels better. Come on down to your back, everybody, and have one block with you. Knees are bent. We're getting near Savasana time, but we're not quite there yet. Pause here just with your feet on the floor. Feel your back, feel your sacrum. Lots of wide leg things today and lots of leg work. And then take the block between your thighs. Give the block a little bit of a squeeze, not a whole bunch, but a little bit. Your hands are down at the sides of your mat or under your sacrum. Take your feet off the floor, take your legs up to the ceiling. And then just a gentle squeeze of your block. And feel the legs work. The shoulders are to the floor. Maybe you bend one knee and then straighten it, bend the other knee. So this is really on purpose. Don't just swing the legs. One more, both sides. Hold the legs up, take the block to above the knees, above meaning closer to the hips, and squeeze. So you're going to feel the legs working here. Notice the difference when you bring the block from high up in the upper inner thighs to lower, maybe bend one knee and then the other. Just a little softening, a little loosening. And then if you can, you're taking that block between your ankles. That's the hardest one. You can take hands under sacrums or thumbs under sacrums for your back. Try to squeeze the block, maybe lower the block just a little bit. So now we're into core, we're into that belly. No straining here, shoulders down, ribs soft to the floor, low belly engaged. Squeeze your block. See if you can lower it just a little bit more. As soon as you arch in your lower back, you've gone too far, or if you have any discomfort. Breathe, bend the knees so that block heads toward your behind and straighten it. Bend and straighten. Try not to lift the legs as you do so. Bend and straighten. Feel your core, feel your belly. Bend, straighten. One more right here. Press and straighten. Lift the legs up to the ceiling. Bend your knees, grab your block, take that out. Woo, and then take that same block under your sacrum. So you're in a restorative bridge. We're not going to move into bridge here. We've done enough back bends today. Make sure you're solid on your block. Shoulders to the floor, the back of the neck nice and long. Take the legs up toward the ceiling. Find your happy place. Find that spot where the legs are not having to work to stay up. So little inversion here. If there's any reason you should not be in this position, the biggest ones are eye pressure issues, glaucoma, things like that, or high blood pressure that isn't being controlled. Those are the biggest ones I know about. But otherwise, imagine that your legs are just up the wall, right? Up a wall. Your body is relaxed. The block under sacrum helps you tilt enough so you don't have to work here. And feel your breath fill your lungs. And as you exhale, feel your belly, your body settle down. Just breathe. Bend your knees, everybody. Knees toward chest. One foot goes to the floor. And then the other foot goes to the floor. Make sure your feet are solid. Lift the hips, take the block out. Lower your hips back down to the floor. And let's prepare for Savasana. If you want, you can take your blocks and place them at the back side of your thighs and then straighten the legs. I love this little version of Shavasana so that the pelvis is really comfortable on the floor, the knees are soft. And then allow the body to just relax. Feel the softness of your breath as it moves in and out. Feel your whole body soften. Feel your body softening even more to the floor. Just let everything relax. See if there's anything else you can let go of in this moment. And then start to wiggle your toes, everybody. Very slowly bend your knees. Pause, let your feet touch the ground, touch the earth, touch your yoga mat. And then as you're ready, draw your knees to your chest. Rock side to side, allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. Curl into fetal pose. And then very slowly press all the way out. And as you're ready, bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom, your own inner voice of good and compassion and love. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.